This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, welcome everyone. My name is Melinda Bourgeois. I'm the owner of Travel Central, and today we're going to be talking about Alaska, and we're very fortunate. We have someone with us, Kristen, who has actually lived and worked in Alaska, and we're presenting some beautiful pictures and talking about firsthand knowledge of what there is to do. I've traveled all over the world. Alaska is still one of my favorite destinations. I've been there over 6 times, so I definitely highly recommend it. And before we get started on Alaska, I just want to present to you a little bit about Travel Central and who we are. So we'll start with that, Kristen. She's going to turn the next slide. Travel Central has been in business since 1988. I have to tell you, we are Alaskan experts. There are many of our staff who've been to Alaska 2, 3, 4 times. Our whole goal when we work with a client is to offer our expertise, our resources, and knowledge from the planning process all the way to your return home. I think the most important thing that we offer is one dedicated advisor. He or she will answer all your questions. They'll help give you good advice. They'll provide you. So if there's a change in your destination, they're your advocate. If there's a change in your vacation. And really, the other thing we offer is enhancement. We have lots of relationships. We're part of a network that has over $1 billion in sales. And with that, they give exclusive offers like onboard credit or discounts. So we'll be talking about those today. So again, we welcome you here today. And now I'm going to turn it over to our expert, Kristen, who's with Holland America. And she's, like I said, works and lives in Alaska. Before we get two things, I ask everybody, if you have a question, please put it in the chat box and we'll answer all those questions as we go along. And unfortunately, the program we're using today doesn't allow me to mute everyone. I'd have to mute Kristen as well. So if you can keep yourself on mute, that way you're not interrupting and disturbing the meeting, it would be greatly appreciated. Now, with those two things, I will definitely turn it over to Kristen and she'll give us her presentation on Alaska. Thank you, Kristen.
Thank you so much, Melinda, and thank you so much, Travel Central and your team for having me today. I am so excited to be able to talk to you and your clients about Alaska. So, one second, went the wrong way. So Alaska is near and dear to my heart. As Melinda said, I have been working in Alaska for the past 12 years. I've actually been sailing on board Holland America line, working on the ship. So I'm very familiar with all of its seasons, all of its different destinations, and the wildlife and beautiful scenery that it has. You know, I find that we in the States, we have a lot of natural wonders that are at our fingertips, but there is almost certainly nothing like what you will experience in Alaska. Today, my goal is to take you on a pictorial guide through a specific cruise for you to be able to see and do everything that you're able to during this cruise. So we'll be showing you a certain number of cruises and opportunities, shore excursions, experiences that you'll be able to have in Alaska. And Holland America, we've been in Alaska since 1947, so we believe that we have a great opportunity to showcase the real Alaska and what it has to offer. So I'm going to begin next with a slide and a bit of a video to give you a bit of a teaser of what we'll be showing you today.
There's something cleansing about being in nature, being in a place that is on such a massive scale. There's a reset button.
Alaska has a rich history. People came here from all over the world.
Oh, I do apologize. Here we go.
There's something cleansing about being in nature, being in a place that is on such a massive scale. There's a reset button.
Alaska has a rich history. People came here from all over the world. A sense of adventure, not knowing really what they were going to find.
My favorite part is seeing it through the guest's eyes, watching them just light up.
It gets you excited again. It makes you realize, oh, hey, this is why I'm doing this.
It's a modern day gold rush. Being with Holland America Line creates this connection with my guest.
They really are experts in travel.
You feel like you're a part of Alaska. It's just a different feeling than anywhere else. by land.
by sea, by experts.
We are Alaska.
So I hope that kind of got you in the mood for the rest of our presentation. So there's really no bad way to see Alaska. So here at Holland America Line, there are really 3 great experiences. You have your cruise-only cruises, which are round trips or one way from Seattle, Vancouver to either of those ports to Anchorage. You have a cruise and Denali, which is my personal favorite and one that I recommend. A lot of times if we're going all the way to Alaska, we really want to catch that majestic view of Denali and all of its wonderful wildlife and scenery. And then we have our exclusive Yukon and Denali as well. So those are for the really adventurous who would love to see more than just the Denali. They want to go into the Klondike Gold Rush history, visit the towns, as well as have this experience of those pioneers from yesteryear. So this is a very exclusive option that we are one of the only cruise lines that offer that. And I'll be able to show you one of those itineraries that does do the Yukon and Denali, as well as a 7-day sea. So these are just some of the experiences that you're going to be able to have and experience Alaska by. So like I said earlier, there's really no bad way to see Alaska. We're offering many different itineraries and sailings within 2022. From May till October. As you can see here, I've just given a little bit of an overview. On the left-hand side at the bottom, you can see a 7-day Alaska Explorer going round trip from Seattle. You will see above there is the 14-day Great Alaska Explorer, which goes to the less visited ports of Prince Rupert Island in British Columbia, Kodiak Island, where you'll see the giant Kodiak brown bears, Valdez, as well as having a day in Anchorage. On the right-hand side, you'll see a 7-day example of Vancouver round trip, and then you'll in the top and see that one Yukon and Denali that I spoke to you of earlier. That's one of our exclusive offerings that gives you a 7-day option that also includes 2 glacier viewing experiences of Hubbard Glacier and Glacier Bay, and then an additional adventure throughout Alaska and the Canadian Yukon. But what I would like to do is to talk to you about a very specific cruise, one that I recommend to my friends and family, a great way to be able to see Alaska, experience what it has to offer, but also to go into the Denali National Park, which a lot of times when you're talking to anybody who wants to go to Alaska, that is the place that they want to end up, to be able to see the true majesty that Alaska has to offer. So going on to that specific cruise, we're going to have a pictorial experience and showcase what you're going to be able to do on your cruise. Now, the first port of call would be Vancouver, Canada. I'm certain many of you have maybe already been to this beautiful city, one of the voted the best place to live in some magazines and articles. So you're going to embark in beautiful Canada Place, which is right downtown in Vancouver. I always recommend to people to stay at least 1 full day in Vancouver, and your Travel Central team will certainly be able to help you book a hotel a day or 2 days ahead of time prior to your cruise experience. Some of the great places to go to would be Stanley Park, which is a beautiful green space. It's kind of the central park of Vancouver. You also have Gastown, which is the traditional and old part of the town of Vancouver, and with the signature gas lamps, the bricks and stone masonry buildings that we kind of think of when we think of architecture from the 1800s. And many of you might have not known, but the California roll was actually born in Vancouver and migrated across the entirety of the North American continent. And Vancouver just has an amazing array of gastronomic adventures that you're going to be able to experience. One of my other recommendations is a place called Japadog, which is a Japanese version of a hot dog, and you just would not be able to begin to discuss the flavorings of that. Also, Vancouver has the largest Chinatown in Canada, so that has an entire area over there which you can be able to explore. And there are many touches of the Olympic Winter Games that were held there in 2010. So a very short walk from the pier, you will actually see the giant Olympic torch that is in front of one of the buildings. So it's a really great place to explore. Even outside, you can go to Whistler Mountain. It's famously known for its ski resorts and as well as hiking. So definitely recommend to spend at least a full day within here. The next day, you will have a sea day. So after your embarkation, after becoming comfortable in your stateroom, you will have a day at sea. Now, one of the great things about going out of Vancouver is that you're going to have the full inside passage experience, which you're going to have kind of fjords and mountains on either side of your boat. One of my favorite things to do on this day is to actually wake up early in the morning, go to the Explorations Cafe and get a beautifully roasted coffee, and then walk the teak deck around. And you breathing in that mountain fresh air, it's just absolutely invigorating. Within this day as well, you will have wildlife sightings. You will have porpoises and whales. The captain will be able to point out certain whale sightings that they actually see from the bridge and make an announcement over the megaphone so that you'll be able to better see that experience. 4 laps around is 1 mile, so be sure to take your Fitbit so you can make sure those steps count, especially after enjoying the dining on board. So this is also your opportunity to take in presentations, and the EXC program that we have on board to really kind of take more information about Alaska. So they have the Iditarod, learning more about that. They'll have a naturalist on board discussing the different wildlife that you can be able to experience. You'll have a shore excursions presentation. So really gearing up for your port days. So again, my recommendation, really take advantage of that beautiful teak deck and those wonderful scenic views that you're going to be having along the way. Now, after that, your first port of call will be Ketchikan. Now, this is the salmon capital of Alaska. It's also the rain capital of Alaska. So many times you may have a bit of, a bit of drizzle. Sometimes you might even have a downpour, but usually it's a temperate rainforest. Usually it passes over very quickly. What you're seeing here right now is actually called Creek Street, and these are buildings from the Klondike Gold Rush era. That you can be able to see that have been fully restored. Many of them are beautiful shops owned by locals. And you have one here, which is Dolly's house, which was one of the brothels that was there in the Klondike Gold Rush area. And you will have a good time, girl, be able to give you a tour of that area. A lot of people will here go for the Misty Fjords and the Tongass National Park Wilderness and Wildlife Explorer. This is also a great option for the fishermen out there. I've actually gone salmon fishing as well as halibut fishing here, especially in the August and September season, and it's absolutely fantastic. And trying to reel in one of those king salmons is a workout and a half. But this August and September is really a great time also for black bear sightings, because you do have the salmon run during that time. So these are just a few of my recommendations for the Ketchikan port. Ketchikan is also going to be really a hub for your native Alaskan people's history. So here you're going to have the Saxman Native Village, which has the largest concentration of totem poles in any area of Alaska. If you were to take a tour out there, you will have one of the Native Tlingit elders show you one of their clan buildings, and they're going to be able to show you some of their artists and their craftsmen on how they make those totem poles and how they relate them to their everyday lives and how they are trying to take their culture and bring it into the future to where it is still preserved. It's really a beautiful tour and highly recommended, along with the other wildlife options. So again, a lot of things to do within Alaska. There are also quite active places as well. So for those of you who are maybe bringing families on, they have children, there's a lot of great active tours, kayaking. You even can go underwater snorkeling as well. If you didn't think that, you will don a specific type of suit to take you underwater. And it's really, I've actually done this, and it's so colorful, you wouldn't think it would be, but there are just beautiful, wonderful worlds underneath the Alaskan waters to be able to gather. This one time I was actually, when I was on the shore excursion, we were actually swimming with sea otters as well. So that was a wonderful experience within that. All right, so moving on to our next port of call, we have Juneau, the capital city of Alaska. Interesting note, you are not able to drive into Juneau. You either have to fly or you have to sail into Juneau. So this is a wonderful capital city. It's quite, nicely small, but cosmopolitan as well. Some great food tours, some restaurants, but people will come here when they come sailing, they want to go whale watching. If you go whale watching here, you are guaranteed to see humpback whales, orcapods. If you were to take a shore excursion, they guarantee it so much that they'll give you your money back if you don't see any whales. So I have taken multiple whale tours along the Juneau inlets, and you get so close to these humpbacks, it's absolutely breathtaking. What you're also seeing right here is the Juneau Tramway. The Juneau Tramway is right off of the dock, and one great thing about Holland America is that we've been coming to Alaska for so long that we actually have grandfather rights to certain docks in certain cities, and Juneau's being one of them. So we dock right downtown, pretty much across from the Juneau Tramway, and you're able to take that tramway up Mount Roberts. And at the top, you'll have breathtaking views. You'll have an opportunity if you would like to do a little bit more hiking. There's also a beautiful restaurant, and there's also going to be some wildlife options. So they have some a rehabilitation center up there for eagles and other raptors that may not be able to actually live in the wild. So they're taking it there for educational purposes. Now, at Juneau, you also have the Mendenhall Glacier, and that is just a spectacular place in and of itself. One of the best rated tours that's offered in Juneau is the Taku Glacier Lodge in Salmon Bake. And one great thing about Alaska and the cruising in particular, you're going to have an opportunity to eat a lot of salmon. Salmon every which way that you could think of. And I certainly always took advantage of those options. But there is nothing like a salmon bake sitting in front of a fire, in front of a massive glacier that's been there for millions of years. So that is definitely one of my recommendations to do. If you are a little bit more active, maybe even take a kayak in front of the glacier as well to get a really up close view on that. On this particular itinerary, Juneau is also going to be a long port day, so you're not leaving until 10 o'clock at night. And so one of my recommendations, if you don't want to go back on the ship, is to have a drink at the Hanger on the Wharf restaurant and watch the float planes coming back in and out as the day goes on for a beautiful sunset. So my recommendations for Juneau. And some pictorial visuals for you. This is Mendenhall Glacier. There's also a wonderful museum here, also that will give you some great information about Mendenhall and the glaciers that were formed around Juneau. And there you have a whale sighting as well. So again, that's going to be a nice small boat for you to go into as well. So it's not going to be a giant boat. You're going to have a really intimate experience with that. Now then we have Skagway. So Skagway is really the entrance to the gold rush. And this is where people would go off to get into the Klondike camps, into the Klondike gold fields. Now, the Skagway is, you really feel like you're jumping off into the movie White Fang on here, because what they've done, they've taken all these old buildings and they've restored them. And again, they're going to be restaurants, cafes, local stores, and other fun oddities that you're going to find here. Now, this is a great opportunity to go and see musher camps. So a lot of the Iditarod writers actually are based out of Skagway, and they'll do their training on the glaciers as well as in the forests that are surrounding there. One of my favorite things to do in Skagway that I've ever done was actually take a helicopter ride over to a glacier and then be able to take a dog sled around that glacier. Now that can be on during certain times of the year, because when you do go forward, like in September, you're going to be a little mushy. So you would have the opportunity to go to the off-season musher camps, which are going to be located in the forest surrounding them, where they train when there's not enough snow base. Another option is going to be the White Pass and Yukon Railway. So for all of you train enthusiasts, this is a fantastic option to go into. So this is a view of the White Pass and Yukon Railroad, and it's a great day out and scenic. And this is one of my pictures that I took actually for the dog sledding and glacier helicopter flight scene. Again, more active options as well that are going to be available. Now, the ultimate cruise feature for any Alaska cruise is going to be Glacier Bay National Park. So this is an opportunity for you to see a landscape that has been written by nature over millions of years. So you're going to be going through 8 hours of scenic Glacier Bay. You're going to be able to stop for an hour and a half at Marjorie Glacier, which the captain will turn the entire boat around, and you'll be able to view both sides from both sides of the glacier. Now, as well, we're going to be having a Glacier Bay National Park ranger on board, as well as a Huna native cultural elder that comes on board to tell you about the native peoples of the area and what they're doing to protect the Glacier Bay National Park for future generations. And there's some little harbor seals on there. Now, one great thing about this particular cruise, again, is that you get 2 glacier viewing options, which a lot of cruises don't have that. This is College Fjord, which, while not as extensive geographically as Glacier Bay National Park, the park here is still very beautiful, and you can see the glacier sisters that are here as well. We get really up close to the Tidewater glaciers here and have some wonderful viewing and wildlife opportunities. Now, this would be your last day on the cruise before heading to Whittier, Alaska, which is the jumping off point for Denali. Now, again, a little bit about the Alaska experience. You're going to have a premier Denali experience that includes luxury rail with options from our ship directly to Denali that goes to our beautiful McKinley Chalet. Now, there's going to be more itineraries for you to choose from, as I mentioned earlier, but again, we're going to be doing that 10-day cruise and land tour right now. And again, Don't take my word for it. We have a lot of best-in-class options as well. Okay, so we are headed to Denali. If you wanted to kind of scale Denali National Park, it's larger than our smallest 3 states. So what we have here from Whittier to the McKinley Chalet Resort, you're going to be taking the a beautiful scenic rail path with called the McKinley Explorer. So this is domed luxury vehicles that you're going to be able to witness an entire expanse of scenery throughout this time. You'll also have the opportunity to have like lunch, kind of like their traditional, kind of if you're thinking back 1950s Bing Crosby era, in our dining car as well, which is fun to do. A beautiful view of the McKinley Explorer that's going to Denali. So the Denali Premier experience includes 2 to 3 nights at our McKinley Chalet. And it's going to also include a Tundra Wilderness tour that's included with your experience. Now, this is not something that a lot of lines offer. This is a really intense, really immersive experience and the opportunity to find all of the Alaska Big Five. So this is a picture of Denali, in Denali and McKinley Chalet. This is Denali Square. And the Denali Square is where you're going to be able to wind down after, busy days, wildlife viewing, going through the Denali National Park. There's going to be s'more options. There's going to be a family dinner theater. You have Carson's restaurant, which is a gorgeous way to be able to really taste Alaska here. But it's a wonderful opportunity for you to wind down but still enjoy the outdoors and everything that Denali has to offer. It's a really great experience. Now, this is a map of the Tundra Wilderness Tour, and again, this is a really big benefit for you. You can see that a lot of the other lines, they only go into a little bit of Denali, and not anyone can get into Denali. You have to take a pre-approved tour of Denali. You can't.
Kristen, for some reason, I lost your sound. So I'm not sure if that's a problem for everyone, but I don't have sound. Can someone put in the chat box whether they can hear anything right now? Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you. I noticed we don't have any sound. I'm sure she'll figure that out and be back in a minute. So thank you for letting me know. But while she's figuring this out, I will tell you this. Alaska, when she was talking about the size of Alaska, one of the first questions we ask is how many days do you have and how much time do you have to go to Alaska? If you cut the state of Alaska in 2, it would be state number 1 and 2, and Texas would be state number 3. So it's a huge state, and really it doesn't make sense just to do the inside passage when there's so much more to see and do inland. So I would definitely recommend that if you have the time. I've done both the inland for Denali. I've done Fairbanks, which I think is a great little city, and then I've also done the Yukon over in the Canada area, which is a really exciting opportunity. So I would definitely consider all the different ways to do it. While we're talking about Denali, one of the cool things you can do in Denali, and we did this when I was there last time, is whitewater rafting. You raft the glacier water, and it's probably, anyone who rafts is probably a class 1 or class 2 rafting. And so it's a lot of fun. You put on dry suits. So it's something I would recommend if you're in Denali. Remember, you're in the land of midnight sun, so sometimes the sun doesn't go down to 10 or 11, just depending on what time of year you're there. In June, it's going to be a longer day. In August, it's going to be probably a little bit shorter, but again, the sunset doesn't go down to 10. So you could actually, we probably went rafting at like 7 at night. So don't think your days are short, because there are lots of opportunities for that. So I'm not sure, Kristen, can you chat with us and tell us what's going on? If you could put a little chat there so we have an idea.
Yes. So okay. I'm so sorry.
That's all right.
Are we able to? I have some messages coming in that they're not able to hear.
That's correct. But now I can. So I've been talking about Denali, talking about whitewater rafting as well as the Sunsets Lake, and now we can hear. So continue on.
I do apologize for that. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So I was speaking earlier concerning the Tundra Wilderness Tour. So the Tundra Wilderness Tour is an exclusive Holland America tour that goes very deep, 62 miles into the Denali National Park interior. And this is really where you're going to be able to see what people perceive as the best of Denali. You're going to be able to have the best option also for your wildlife tours as well. So you're going to have a really big chance to see those big 5. So if you can see right here in the middle area, there's a best wildlife viewing. And right here, we see Stony Hill Overlook. And this is the very end of the tour where you have the option to see the amazing and majestic Denali. So this is on a clear day, of course. The pure majesty upon looking at this mountain is incredibly, it makes you feel a very small piece in a very big world when looking at this. And it's something that I think is right at the top of every person who experiences Denali National Parks, their favorite piece of their tour. So some of those big 5 that you're going to be able to see is, of course, the moose. You're also going to have a very big chance to see the grizzly bear or the brown bear, depending upon who you talk to. This is an opportunity also. I've had experienced cruisers tell me when they go up to Alaska and Denali every year, and 3 out of 4 times they see a wolf, they see the elk, they see them all. So this is a really great opportunity to really see Alaska as it once was and still is. Now, I had mentioned concerning the food that you're going to be having. Now, this is a Carson's option, and this is all going to be fresh from the Sea of Alaska. You're going to have a really big opportunity to taste Alaska while you're here in Alaska, as well cruising, as well as the Denali National Park and McKinley Chalet. Now, if I could transport myself here, I would. This is a Denali suite that you see here. It's a junior suite. And my favorite thing to do would be just to grab a coffee and just sit out on that balcony and enjoy that view while just immersing myself in that fresh air that you only get when you're going to be in the mountains. And there's something distinctly different about Alaska air, I will tell you that. Now, when you're going into Denali, you're going to have an amazing opportunity and to see nature, to see the way that Native Alaskans have lived, but you're also going to be cruising there in style and in comfort as well. So I want to briefly discuss a little bit about what you're going to be experiencing while you're on board. So for those 7 days or for those 14 days, whichever you would choose to have as your vessel to go through your Alaska cruise experience. So Holland America is a premium cruise line dedicated to explorers, foodies, music lovers who want a perfectly sized ship that is refreshingly uncrowded. So when you go into a Holland America line cruise and you're cruising in Glacier Bay National Park, we open up all areas of the ship. You can even go out on the bow and pretty much be guaranteed a space right on the bow, right on the edge for you to enjoy the glacier viewing. So you're not going to see huge crowds. It's going to be, like I said, refreshingly uncrowded with a thoughtful design. Now, you're going to be able, should you choose, to be immersed in the destination. That is something that we take pride in, so that you're going and you're going to be a traveler. You're not going to be a tourist, you're going to be a traveler. And you're going to be able to experience a deeper understanding of the places we visit through Huna or Tlingit tribe members coming to talk to you, through the Iditarod presentations, through Alaska history, the Klondike Gold Rush. There's going to be so many opportunities for you to immerse yourself so that when you do go into these ports, you're going to have a better understanding of what it is that you're seeing and be able to appreciate it on an even deeper level. Now, for those foodies out there, and I know especially in New Orleans, you do already have your amazing choice of unrivaled food experiences, but you're also going to have an amazing time here eating your way through the restaurants here in Holland America. I could live in the Pinnacle Grill and have king salmon served whichever way I want, and a baked Alaska to wash it down with every single day. I would be huge, but I could do it if I had to, which I would love to. So there's going to be some amazing opportunities for you to try foods, especially that are native to the Alaskan area. We source a lot of our foods when we're cruising in Alaska from the localities that we visit. If you are a music lover, we have the best live music at sea. We have several resident bands that do come on. So the BB King's Blues Club from Memphis. We have the Lincoln Center stage performers that come from normally New York City, have gone to Juilliard. We also partner with the Rolling Stone Rock Room, or our Rolling Stone magazine to present the Rolling Stone Rock Room, as well as Billboard magazine to present our dueling pianos. So we partner with some of the most big name partnerships in music that are out there, and they actually bring their musicians to us at sea. So no matter which day that you're on, you're going to have live music all over the place, including our world stage, which you're going to have our theatrical productions. And what I always say about the cruises, it doesn't matter what the cruise is unless you're getting this beautiful service. And we have wonderful service here at Holland America. In my opinion, after being on Holland America for 12 years, I think we have the best service at sea. And that's what really brings our guests back and returning over and over again, which we had the highest returning guest rate of it in pretty much any cruise line on at sea. Now, a lot of people will choose Alaska for their first time cruisers, and that is what I recommend as well. If anybody asks me, where should I begin cruising? I would say to go to Alaska. It is the most kind of magnificent experience that you're going to get. Of course, the Caribbean is great. Mexico is great. But Alaska, you're going to have a full sensory immersion into the culture, the wildlife, and the nature that it can present. So if it's your first time cruising, Alaska is definitely recommended for you to go to as your first time to experience a cruise. Now, the next photos I'm going to show you are just some images, again, pictorial immersion, so that you'll be able to get an idea of the area that we're going to be going into. The Pinnacle Grill, where you can swim in lobster bisque and bask in a baked Alaska. And these are some of the entertainment that I was mentioning earlier. So we do have the World Stage, which is our theater, great Cirque du Soleil caliber shows, wonderful comedians, great guest entertainers, the Lincoln Center Stage Quintet, Billboard onboard dueling pianos, and the BB King's Blues Club. So always something to do in the evening. You're going to have a fantastic time. Now, this is something that we have partnered with. Again, we're very proud of our partnerships. We partnered with the BBC to produce specific types of theatrical productions, including here we have BBC Earth in Concert Alaska. So it's taken portions of Wild Alaska that they have recorded, and we actually play over that video. So it's kind of like a 3D IMAX experience with this, and it's just it's something different that I've never seen produced on any other cruise line. So definitely when you're on there, please, I would recommend highly to go to this show. Now, the next ones that I'm going to be showing you are just kind of giving you some ideas of rooms and staterooms that you'll be able to go to. Now, I always say if you're going to go to Alaska, have a balcony. because you're going to want to wake up and you're going to want to see exactly what's out there. You know, inside cabin's great, outside cabin's great, but a balcony, a veranda, or if you really want to treat yourself into a suite, that's going to be really a beautiful benefit and a great value to you, especially if you want to be able to, and this is a veranda, be able to just utilize your balcony for those scenic glacier viewings, the scenic inside passage, College Fjord. It's really going to be just a huge benefit to be right outside of your door. Again, with a good coffee. All right, and here's an example of our ocean view stateroom as well. Now, on board and ashore, you're going to have amazing opportunities. You're going to be able to relax, have fun, experience food, experience wildlife, and there's really no age restriction here on Holland America. You're going to be able to experience everything, and your families, your grandkids, your nieces, your nephews, whoever's coming on board will also have a fantastic time. We do also have a lot of multi-generational families coming on board. So the grandparents, the parents, the grandkids, they will come on board because they want their children to experience Alaska as it is now, because who knows what it's going to be like in 10, 15, 20 years from now. So I would highly recommend, if you are thinking of a family vacation, Alaska really is a wonderful choice, and definitely talk to your travel agents at Travel Central for more information on family sailings as well. Now, I always like to be prepared when going anywhere, and especially to Alaska. I'd love to have a background. So these are just some of my personal book recommendations, TV shows, and movies for you to be able to explore at your own leisure if you'd like, but this will be able to give you a really good kind of a taste of Alaska and get you even more so excited about your upcoming adventure. Now, I would like to introduce to you a gentleman whose name is Jerry. Many of you, having worked with Travel Central over the years, may have met Jerry before, and Jerry is a traveling guru and an expert, a professional agent there at Travel Central. Now, Jerry is actually going to be hosting a sailing with Travel Central and Holland America. And what that means, a hosted sailing, is that Jerry's going to be there for you if you have any questions while you're on board. He's going to be able to ensure that your cruise is more enjoyable. So you're going to have exclusive amenities with Jerry that you may not have on other cruises. So definitely look, get a hold of Jerry, get a hold of your agent at Travel Central, and look into this wonderful sailing. So this is actually from August 7th to the 17th, right there in the middle of that salmon running season. And this is a 10 nights, so the same 10 nights that we have just kind of experienced all together. So this is going to be August 7th through the 17th, starting from Vancouver and ending up in Fairbanks. And in Denali. So this is a fantastic opportunity for you to be able to, especially if it's your first time, for you to be able to have somebody there to ensure that, like I said, you're having the best time possible, and to get some more of those exclusive group amenities options with Jerry there. Now, one thing that Holland America has just announced is the Have It All promotion. And this is, in my opinion, it should have come sooner, because we have kind of tallied all of our guests and has say, what is it that's most important to you? They've come back with shore excursions, drink packages, specialty dining, and Wi-Fi. So if you were to book a cruise and ask one of your travel agents to place a Have It All promotion, you're going to get all of these 50% off than what they would normally do. So most likely you're going to be going to a specialty restaurant. Most likely you're going to be needing to use Wi-Fi. Most likely you're going to be a short excursion. So this benefits you in a way that nothing else does. So you're going to get all of this at a $45 per day for 50% off than it would if you book them all separately. So definitely talk to Jerry, talk to your agent who you normally work for, and get more information on this, because you definitely want to add this to your cruise experience. Now, another option that we have exclusively gotten for Travel Central and their clients for a 1 week limited time only is for extra onboard credit. So here you can see the divided up into land and sea. So if you were to go with Jerry, for instance, on the cruise in August, you're going to get, if you were to choose a veranda, you're going to get an extra $100 onboard spending or onboard credit. So $100, that is a spa treatment. That's going to be, maybe you want to do a couple of mixology classes. Maybe you want to do a cooking class. Maybe you would like to, to go to a different specialty restaurant, because there are multiple on board. That's going to give you that extra experience. And then we have the cruise only as well. So if you're doing a round trip Seattle, round trip Vancouver, or just a cruise only from Seattle or Vancouver to Whittier, you're going to get also some great onboard credit. Now, one other thing that just came out today and is available until September 15th is even more exclusive offers. So if you are to book a trip, a round trip from Seattle or Vancouver, between now and September 15th, you're going to receive an additional $100 onboard credit. So this is going to be a stack upon stack upon stacks of great options for extra amenities and extra onboard credit. And now as well, it can be had with only a $99 deposit. So I would love for you to go talk to Melinda, talk to Jerry, talk to the wonderful team at Travel Central within the next 7 to 2 weeks to be able to take advantage of these opportunities, because they're not going to last long and they'll be gone before you know it. So if you want to have a truly incredible experience with all these extra value and benefits, please take advantage of this, because this kind of offer does not come along very often. Now, saying this, I want to thank Melinda and Travel Central. I also want to apologize for the sound issues that came about. I hope that I didn't miss out on too much, but I'd be very happy to take any questions. I'm gonna rein it over to Miss Melinda as well to be able to continue on, and then we'll be able to answer any questions you may have.
Thank you, Kristen. A fabulous, fabulous presentation. Absolutely want to go back to Alaska. Like I said at the beginning, it's one of my favorite destinations. I've done it in all kinds of ways, whether it was a cruise tour, land, and any way you decide to do it is fantastic. As I said earlier when we hit the little sound, your first question needs to be, how long do you have? There's so much to do and see that, as I said, it's state number 1 and 2 if you cut it in half, Texas being number 3, so it's very large. Anyway, just so you know, travel is evolving as it changed over the past COVID era, and we're looking forward to 2022 being a fantastic year. But we do here at Travel Central have the tools and resources to help you navigate through the new changes that are in the industry. We have the information about what documents are required, what health policies they have, any of those types of questions you have, we have those. Chris, we did have a couple of questions, and you might, if you can just briefly talk about handicap friendliness, whether if you have a scooter or a little bit immobile. How do you feel about Alaska and being able to get around? I do know that I brought my mother, who was 85 at the time, one time, and she actually went whitewater rafting with us, so she was pretty agile. But I brought my father-in-law, who had a scooter on a cruise ship. It was no problem at all. But can you speak to that a little bit, Kristen?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have ADA cabins that are able to be utilized for any of our guests that are in any form handicapped or disabled. We do have all of our venues are able to have those specific areas where they can be able to place their scooters or their wheelchairs throughout. It's very easy to get around the ship via any kind of handicap issues. Now, when it comes to tours, of course, like you said, I think it's going to be dependent upon the individual. There are handicap ADA accessible tours in every single port. Now, if you're looking to get onto a helicopter and go on a musher camp on a glacier, now that might be a little bit limited, but you can definitely be able to do the train, be able to do the city tours, be able to go to the Tlingit house to be able to talk to the elders and the totem pole. So there are still so much wide variety that you will still be able to have full access to.
Thank you, Kristen. One other question, and I think somebody asked about the Northern Lights, and correct me if I'm wrong, but during the summer there's too much sunlight, and so typically that's more of a late fall, winter experience to really see the Northern Lights. So I don't think that's something. I wouldn't go to Alaska during the summer in anticipation of seeing the Northern Lights. Okay,
you're absolutely right.
Okay, thank you. And let's go on to the next slide, which is just an update on the upcoming virtual talks. So we do the virtual talks about once or twice a month. Chris, if you can just flip that slide. And so we actually have something on Iceland, Finland, and Norway, which is a winter experience that we're promoting. That we're going to. One of the girls is going to Iceland and Finland in March of next year. So Northern Lights are almost definitely a thing you'll see. And one of the nights they actually stay in a glass-covered igloo to get the best view of the Northern Lights. Anyway, all of these shows are free online. The one that we are doing in person at the end of October is In-Person Vacation Expo. So if you're in the New Orleans area, we welcome you to join us. There's information on our website about that. And it's actually on our website, there's information about all these things. So, or you can just call us at 834-7000. We'll be happy to help you. And with that, and there's no other questions that I see. If you have questions, don't hesitate to email me, call me. We'll be happy to answer them. We did record this presentation and we'll be sending it out to everyone tomorrow. So thank you for joining us. Have a great afternoon, and we look forward to seeing you at our future presentations. Bye-bye now.